economic outcomes and the food security and the educational outcomes that they want. The influx of the Rohingya to this area has put pressure on the local infrastructure and the local resources. And these are complicated problems, and we all need to work together to find durable solutions. And that's exactly what this project does. It's special in that it's bringing together government and civil society and business, but most important, the local communities. And this project envisions local experts and local partners leading the way to find the solutions for the broad areas that have been mentioned, in economic opportunity, in water and sanitation, in food security, and also in climate resilience. I believe that by all of us working together, all of the 9 partners who've already been identified and other partners who will be identified, that we can build a brighter future together, led by local expertise and local people for the benefit of the people of this region. Once again, I'm very happy to be with you all here today, and I will say Dhonobad. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy and Jackson, for your thoughtful words and for sharing your vision for resilience and collaboration. We are privileged to hear from our chief guest, Ms. Sayyida Rizwana Hassan, Honorable Advisor to the Ministry of Environment, Water Resources, Forest and Climate Change, Bangladesh. Ms. Sayyida Rizwana Hassan is a beacon of advocacy for environmental sustainability and community resilience. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Thank you very much. আমার একটু গলার সমস্যায় থাকার কারণে I was saving my voice for this afternoon. I think this is a very important intervention, and I must thank the US government and USAID for coming forward to support the people of a region whose name we don't really mention much when we talk about climate change. When we talk about climate change and adaptation, yes, we do talk about Cox's Bazar, that being a coastal area, and IPCC alarming us every now and then about the fear of these coastal areas going underwater and, submerging permanently. But we really don't talk about the hill areas where climate change is also having a devastating impact. What really makes me happy is the fact that the interventions talk about hope. And the fact remains that natural resource rich areas like Cox's Bazar and the hilly districts of Bangladesh should actually be seen not as areas of problems, but as areas of potential. Regrettably, because of different interventions, because of geopolitics, over the decades, we have turned them into areas of conflict and areas of problems. But in other parts of the world, where they're respectful to local culture, where they're actually protective of natural resources, areas like Gujarat would be seen as resources. Here it's just the other way around. I was just taking some figures from the internet, and it says that the Department of Public Health and Engineering claims that they supply water to 63% of the population in Rangamati. They supply 61% water to people in Bandhavans and 78% in Khagrachari. If I accept this, now that I'm part of the government, if we accept this government-given statistics as true, then also a huge number of people are left behind and are not getting access to public water supply. There are several reasons behind it. One is geography. But even with the geography, when we had the natural forest, they had the hilly streams. But now that we have gone for commercial cultivation, we have chosen commercial species. Those are drying up the hilly streams and forcing people to walk miles after miles to get just one bucket of water. And they're not walking on plain, smooth Dhaka roads. They're actually climbing hilly steps. So this is proving extra difficult, super challenging for women in the hill tracts areas. So I'm sure that this project that talks about supply of water will have very positive impact on those who are left behind and those who are not covered by the government network. In Cox's Bazar, the problem is different. It is salinity and it is heavy metal. I think there is definite need for impartial analysis and testing of the groundwater quality in Cox's Bazar, because for a few years we are hearing a group of experts who are really sending out alarms saying that the water quality is laden with heavy metals that the country does not have the ability to deal with. I'm sure the project will take care of that. Now on women's empowerment, the first thing is inclusive market system and access to income. I tell you something, there are some very good news, and which I believe that interventions like this will render this ongoing positive images as models that are institutionalized. There are, Facebook pages of women who sell saris. I can tell you there are about 50 to 100 Facebook pages who sell indigenous Manipuri saris. So I just hope that this project will do the needed value addition so that what is being produced now, better products can come out with that value addition. So making that market link is very much welcome, but also connecting these people with other brains like designers who can add value to their production will be really, really helpful for these people, because we know that Manipuris live here in Bangladesh, they live here, there in India also. Over the years, the excellence that the Indians have attained in their designs, in their way of weaving, is something that we still lag behind. I'm sure the project will create opportunities for that sort of intervention. Now, one secret. When we talk about women's entrepreneurship and access to income, there are food stores here now in Dhaka where they sell indigenous food, and these restaurants are pretty popular. Sometimes you have to have a booking to go there. So in this era of internet and this era of increased tourism, people of Bangladesh have acquired a taste for indigenous food, and that is a way of showing respect to their culture. And I'm sure that indigenous food, their clothes, their jewelry, their food production system can actually be assisted to find a place in the mainstream market. That way, people who are unknown becomes known. I mean, when you try a delicacy from Khagrachari and get someone in the restaurant who is from Khagrachari, you get connected. So while our generation is getting connected to fast food very easily, if we promote indigenous, safe food restaurants, I think a new generation of activists who advocate for a change in the society will be very happy to take it forward. I myself do not take what we call farmer burning. So I'm scared of the antibiotic that's put in there. And it's very difficult to get the local chicken. They can always deceive you by selling the Pakistani roast chicken as the Deshi chicken. You know what I opt for? There are young entrepreneurs who are selling hilly chickens. And some of us, I have a network of around 20 people, we get chickens from the hill tracts because those are safe and those are free-range chickens as we understand. So if this project can think of, widening the market for the indigenous people and making sure that they get connected to the economic hubs of the country with their local products that are safe and that are liked by people, that will be a definite value addition. So I thank the Church Day Fairs, the ambassador and my friends there in the audience for supporting an NGO of which I was a part till I took over this responsibility. It's a very focused group. It doesn't do 100 things. It is a bit picky. They do more and talk less. A trait that you don't find very easily here in Bangladesh. So thank you for choosing FIBTV and thank you for keeping the people of Cox's Bazar and the hill tracks in your mind. I'm sure with very pragmatic interventions, we will be able to make real changes in people's life, make their life safe, as well as make sure that they do not remain hilly people who are unknown to the rest of Bangladesh. I think this market mechanism, this market opportunity will connect the hilly people with the rest of the people of Bangladesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Advisor, Ms. Sayyida Rizwana Hassan, for your inspiring address and your faithful commitment to sustainable development. Now it's time for our digital ribbon cutting ceremony. I request to the team for the arrangement, please. For digital ribbon cutting ceremony, we invite the US Ambassador, Tracy Angie Gibson, USAID Mission Director, Great J. Asian Man, the Chief Guest, Sayyida Rizwana Hassan Ma'am, the President of FIBTV, Dr. Mansoor Ahmed, Executive Director of FIBTV, Bajne Mustafa Raji, Chief of Party Trina Bishop, Dr. Begum Samia Sultana, Director General, Soil Resources Development Institute, SDI, on behalf of MD Abu Sufyan, AKM Humayun, Director, Department of Livestock Services, Imran Ahmed, Conservator of Forest, Bangladesh Forest Department, on behalf of Director Fisheries Masuda Khanum, Director Blue Economy, Department of Fisheries Bangladesh, and Agreement Officers Representative, USAID Host and Impacted Community Resilience Activity and Project Management Specialist, USAID Bangladesh, MD Ashraful Haq, to engage in a digital ribbon cutting ceremony. I'd like to call Pradeep Kumar Mahatam, NDC Additional Secretary, Development Wing, Ministry of Chittagong Hill Tax Affairs. invite all our special guests to come forward beside the tab stand and ceremonially cut the digital ribbon by tapping the button on the tablet. This will activate an exciting animation displayed on our LED backdrop and screens. Okay, I can say now that 3, 2, 1, and 0. Thank you so much to our honored guests for leading the significant occasion. We invite the all USA, the host and impacted community resilience activity, leadership and staff with consortium members with additional 9 local execution partners to join our chief and special guests on stage for a group photo to commemorate this special day. Thank you to everyone for capturing the spirit of this collaboration. Thank you. We will now proceed with our program. Before the cultural segment begins, we invite our guests to explore the illustration art and photo gallery. Admire